It's been 3 years since I shared my original review of the Toniebox, and it's still one of our family's go-to screen-free audio players. Today in this Toniebox update, I'm going to dive into what's changed for us, how our usage has evolved, some exciting new types of Tonies like the clever Tonies in audiobooks, and even discuss a noticeable change in price since my first review. So if you're curious about how the Toniebox has held up, what's new, and whether it's still worth it after all this time, stay tuned. I wasn't exactly sure what I was walking into when I first introduced the Toniebox to my son 3 years ago. I thought he'd really enjoy to listen to music, but it seems like both my son and daughter have taken a liking to stories being read to them, which funny enough is very similar to my own interest in audio type that I personally listen to when driving around to and from work. I love listening to audiobooks as it makes the long commute time much more bearable. Anyways, back to the Toniebox. 3 years ago, Toniebox was our family's first screen-free audio player. Since then, we've expanded our collection to include many other players, including the Yodo, Yodo Mini, StoryPod, and even one that I made myself. So how does it hold up when my children have so many other options? Well, it comes down to content. This would hold true regardless if your child prefers music or stories. And when it comes to content, Tony does a pretty good job that just might make you overlook some of the shortcomings it has. When it comes to stories and music from familiar characters such as Disney, Peppa, Paw Patrol to Blue's Clues, they seem to have them all. So regardless of what TV show or movie your child is drawn to, they're pretty much bound to find something they're interested in. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the other screen-free audio players don't have a large content library. I'm just saying that Tony's library is quite large. When I first made the video, they only had two types of Tonys. Content Tonys, which are like the Disney characters, and the creative Tonys, which allow you to upload your own files. Now they've added clever Tonys, which give or take is similar to content Tonys in that they're an educational set of Tonys with different topics such as animals, innovations, and even comedy. They're actually really good. While I don't own any, at one point they offered the Gentle Giant set free on their app. So I still have them saved on one of my creative Tonys, and since my son loves dinosaurs, he listens to them quite a bit. The last edition are audiobooks, and as the name implies, are audiobooks. These aren't super long, with each one ranging about an hour, and it comes in sets of 4. So 4 hours of content for $40 isn't too bad. Overall, I'm very happy with the content to pick from, but one thing that hasn't been fun is the price increase. They weren't cheap in the beginning because these content were originally $15. But about 2 years ago, the price went up, and now these are $18 per content Tony. $3 extra adds up real quick, especially when they tempt you with all these new Tonys they have. The only saving grace is they've become quite popular, and places like Walmart and Target starts carrying them, so which means they'll be on sale occasionally. And if you're really lucky, you'll find some on clearance. I found them on clearance both at Walmart and Target, but it's not often. It's kind of random and a bit of luck in play, but definitely worth a shot to take a look every time you're in a store, as sale price could drop under $10 for a Tony. This one right here is the Rocky one, and it's $9. The Toniebox itself has held up remarkably well and still feels robust, even with regular use over the past 3 years. Battery life is still good. I haven't run into any durability issues, but I would still be great to eventually see an updated version with new features. Kind of like a wish list, there are definitely a few things that I'd like to see if Toniebox ever comes out of version 2 or something like that. First, something that's become especially apparent now that Tony's introduced audiobooks is they need a better resume feature. Currently, if you take a Tony off and put it back on, it'll pick up exactly where you left off, which is great. But if you swap out this Tony for another one, then try to return to the original one, it starts from the beginning. This gets frustrating quickly, especially as stories are longer with the new audiobooks. I love to see Tonys implement a feature that remembers the playback positions even after switching Tonys. This is probably where the Toniebox really falls short compared to other brands like Yodo and StoryPod, which already have this capability. I can't tell you how many times I've had to deal with the frustration from one of my kids swapping out a Tony while the other was still listening, causing them to lose their place. And it's not like navigating the tracks is especially easy with all the tapping and tilting. Another improvement that would be welcome is better track navigations. Maybe something more intuitive than the current system. I mentioned this 3 years ago, and unfortunately, it still feels pretty clunky today. Now I'd love to hear from you. Has your family's experience with the Toniebox changed over time? Do your kids have a favorite type of Tony? Or is there new content you're excited about? Share your stories or any wishlist items you have for future updates in the comment below. I'll be reading your responses and would love to feature some of them in a future video. Overall, 3 years later, the Toniebox still remains a solid choice in our house, despite a few minor quirks and the price increase on the Tonys. If you enjoyed this update, give the video a thumbs up. Until next time, happy listening.